Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
You know, every morning we have something a little different here to start the program, and we're going to start this morning off with a real groaner. Get ready to groan on the count of 3. The patient says, Doctor, I'm scared of Santa." The doctor replies, "You're suffering from claustrophobia." I know, everybody, 1, 2, 3. Oh. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a patriot. Call in with our Pledge of Allegiance on a Thursday. Good morning. That's that lovely lady, Kate Smith, and God Bless America. Good morning to America. And I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, and also some of our great advertisers, including Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. And right now, without further ado, let's go to a patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Oh, back in the saddle again, are you?
Yeah, I'm going to go for another ride.
All right, well, you go right ahead and give us the pledge.
All right, will do. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well done, Wheels. That a boy. Right now it's time for the weather, brought to you by Cheney Flooring and Home Design. Kyle and Whitney, Sierra, the whole crew over there, really nice people. And don't forget, how about getting new flooring for Christmas? Oh, and they've got gift cards available, and the carpet, and all the home decor items, everything, whatever you need to make your house a home. You better believe it. These are the pros at Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for the blue door. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
It's Thursday, December 10th, 15 days left until Christmas, and here's what we're looking at weather-wise. Looks like showers for today, plus it's going to be windy out of the southwest, right around 17 miles an hour. High of 46 is what we're expecting for today. Tonight, low of 28. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, winds dying down, high of 39 with an overnight low of 27. Morning snow showers are possible for Saturday, slightly breezy, high of 38 with an overnight low of 31, and then rain showers possible for Sunday with a high of 43. Yesterday's high was 60, and the overnight low was 33. That's your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Holy moly, thank you very much, Gina. I appreciate that. Brought to you this hour by our friends, and we really enjoy having them on the program. Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for the blue door. Hey, Merv May, come on in here. Let's sell some cattle this morning.
All right. Hey, good set of steer calves there. Here to get all 31, 31, 30.
That's the chant of the world's best auctioneer, Merv May, over there at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, with sale time this morning at 10 a.m. The sale that works for you. Merv May, Cade, Rogge, Lance Udy, all of them really putting forth a good effort to serve you in the livestock industry. And for more information of the sale, call 678-9411. Here's a partial list of some of the cattle we know are going to be coming in there this morning. Lyle Steed Steed over to Stone. Hello, Steed family. How you doing? Bringing in 60 head of calves. Joyce Ward up at Elmo, 168 head of calves. Dick Simpson over to Cary. I know that family. Good folks. 120 head of calves. And Eric Casel over to Rogerson, 50 head of mixed calves. Good sale today, and it starts at 10 a.m. along with the trailer line run at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Sale time today at 10 a.m. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, he gets the steer calves there. Here to get all 31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 5.5, 130, 550, 135, 1.5, selling $1.35. Does that bell get the bottom?
No, that's still a doggone good price. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the program. And I really urge you to call in this morning over some of the topics that we're going to be discussing. I have heard and learned from the sources that I work with back on the East Coast, Washington, and then also New York, and news bureaus out of California. And you probably may have heard this story as it was released yesterday, and it really is spooky. Syed Farook, one of the Muslim killers, in his job as a county health employee, had complete unrestricted access to restaurants and school kitchens, all sorts of areas as to where he could have jeopardized food service and possibly scoping out a certain high school for an attack. They have now released from his cell phone various pictures of a local high school that may have been headlined for an attack from him and his wife and possibly others. But, you know, folks, this morning, Americans are sitting back and they're wondering and they're pondering how safe they really are. This man, this insidious man and his killer wife, they could have done any number of things to food or the restaurants, facilities, whatever. We don't know, really, like one commentator said yesterday, and it's really true, we don't know if there's still something lingering out there that might have been on a long-term scale timer. Anything's possible today. We don't know. And yesterday, James Comey with the FBI said there is a staggering array. Now, those are not my words. Those are his. There is a staggering array of possible terror attacks on the United States. I want to get into an op-ed that was in our local newspaper, the Times News, day before yesterday. And I was highly offended by it. I'll tell you why in just a moment, so stay tuned. I want to say thank you very much to Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. They're open 7:30 to 5, Monday through Friday. All your heating and electrical needs. And believe me, they do provide warm winters and cool summers. And they've got all your furnace filters to make sure that when you tippy-toe across that cold floor, turn that furnace up, it's going to respond with a big smile on its face and keep you just as cozy as possible. So you be sure and stop in and see them today or give them a call at 678-0459. Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Also, our thanks go out to a gentleman that has been on this program for a long, long time. And that's Colonel Dale at the Book Plaza at 222 West 11th Street in Burley. You know, they are having a big Christmas giveaway with over $1,000 in prizes and gifts and cash. And all you have to do while you're shopping in there for books and gifts and jewelry is register. And you might be a winner at the Book Plaza. Merry Christmas, 222 West 11th Street in Burley. You stop in and see them today. The reason I'm so upset at our so-called illustrious Times News on this op-ed, and they had a editorial, and it was called Painting Over the Hate. There was one paragraph in particular that absolutely made me back up and really clench my fist. I'll read it to you and then see how you would respond. Unfortunately, blowhards like Trump and others locally who have aligned themselves against the College of Southern Idaho's Refugee Center, and Muslims in particular, with evil in their hearts, are poisoning this country. Ladies and gentlemen, I submit to you that kind of a paragraph from liberal loons, and by the way, the person or persons that sat down and wrote this op-ed, the Times News doesn't have the guts or the backbone to publish their names as to who really came up with this mediocre thought. When we put a letter in the Times News, you have to have a verification of your name, address, etc. But there was nobody here that we can call and say, why did you put something like that in there? People, and now we're being called blowhards, and we have aligned themselves against the College of Southern Idaho's Refugee Center. Let me tell you something. The College of Southern Idaho, with their very naive approach to the refugees coming in here, they have aligned themselves on, I think, a disaster highway. We are seeing now and hearing now from the FBI and Homeland Security that there is no way they can vet 100% with any surety at all who these refugees are and where they come from, because there are not data banks available. And then to go on further, caller, I'll be right there, don't go away. And then say that with evil in our hearts, no, I don't have any evil in my heart. But right now I have an extreme amount of fear and concern for the safety of my family and, quite frankly, myself. And I am not poisoning this country. I love this country. And I absolutely condemn the Times News and whoever wrote this editorial as being amateur and absolutely reckless with poor words. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, Zeb. Yeah, I just want to say, if we were to let every one of these refugees in, how do we know that even that a few of them wouldn't be ISIS operatives looking for any way they can to kill as many of us as they could?
We don't know. We don't know. There's no way of knowing, and quite frankly, caution. That word caution is really the main word right now that the United States government needs to employ.
Exactly. We need to... I think the only way to be sure that we don't get quite so many of those terrorists in is to stop the refugees, redirect them somewhere else other than the United States.
Well, the best redirection would have been to allocate and make sure that they were funneled into safe zones in their own country, in their own environment, in their own habitat, if you will. That would have been better off for everybody.
You know, that's exactly what I was thinking, Zeb.
All right, sir. Thank you for your call this morning, always. God bless. Have a good day.
Yeah, I'll catch you later.
All right, thank you. Caller, I ask your indulgence to wait just a moment, please. I've got to get this on the air. I'll be right with you, I promise. I want to say thank you to Denny's Restaurant. Next week on Wednesday, we're going to be there on December 16th for a Denny's Old-Fashioned Merry Christmas. We're going to be broadcasting live and direct over to Denny's. We're going to have Christmas carolers from the Burleigh High School Choir. They're good. And door prizes, Santa Claus, Ken Mort's going to be singing, Loot in the Boot to help needy families. Don't miss it. All of this and more with the great food menus that are available at Denny's Restaurant, 611 Overland in Burleigh. Oh, man, the food is great. The service is fantastic at Denny's. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue has turned into a country club. And the enemy knows this, and they're taking full advantage of it, and nothing's going to get done for another year. We're going to have more damn damage in this country before he gets out of office.
You know, Tony, I don't think anybody is out screaming in the streets the Chicken Little routine that the sky is falling, but everybody that I know and talk to every day, whether it's on the East Coast or the West Coast with the different media, the concern, that 7-letter word concern, keeps coming up every day because people are concerned about what the government has not done. They are concerned about the naivete of this administration. They are very concerned about what's happening with immigrants coming into this country that we don't know who they are or what they want to do. And for the Times News to come out in their op-ed and call us blowhards with evil in our hearts and we're poisoning the country, that liberal rag in Twin Falls is absolutely off base.
Well, you know, neither party, both parties are looking for as many votes as they can get to stay in power. And personally, I feel they don't care who's coming into this country as long as they get the votes from these people that are pouring into the country to keep them in power. That's where the danger's at.
Yeah, there is so much right now to be concerned about and have a lot of attention directed to it. And after listening to Ash Carter yesterday on TV and then listening to the other government officials and some of our generals, I'll tell you what, Tony, we have every right to be very gravely concerned.
Well, CSI is the Trojan horse here.
I agree. I'm not going to lie about that at all. I do not support right now the refugee center and what's happening until we take a real good foot on the brake pedal and find out more about what's coming into this country and why.
Well, too much money is pouring into CSI and maybe ending up in the wrong places.
Could be, Tony. God bless you and Mary. Thank you for your call.
You're welcome.
All right, buddy, thanks. I want to talk about a former Army helicopter pilot by the name of Amber Smith. Wow, did she ever look at the cameras on TV yesterday and say some things that really ought to strike fear into the Obama administration and, quite frankly, all of us. Don't forget Merry Christmas wishes from Pump Service 103 West, 500 South of Burley. These are the Baker Boys, and they thank everybody for their business, and they do a wonderful job from residential and commercial wells, pump service, water softeners, everything. Thank you. Pump Service, Merry Christmas. Pickett Equipment Company. Hey, guys, Steve and the crew, 976 East Main in Burley, and they are now shipping Pickett equipment all over the world. My goodness, since they started in the 70s, they have grown. Merry Christmas from Pickett Equipment Company in Burley. And Vicky's Country Gardens, 185 South, 600 West of Paul. Thank you for all your business this past year. And don't forget, Vicky's has got great stuffing stuff. Let me try that again. Great stocking stuffers. Excuse me, I'm coughing to death here. Great stocking stuffers with gift certificates from Vicky's Country Gardens. Merry Christmas. Whew, thought I was going to pass on to the Great Divide right there. And then also our thanks go out to Quality's Electronics. Christmas sale is now on with their great big Christmas sale prices. My goodness, the best deals on HD TVs, soundbars, Blu-ray players, home theater systems, everything. And they've even been expanded their hours from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. Hey, Quality's Electronics in Twin, wishing you a Merry Christmas. Oh, man. That old cough is about ready to get me down. I got to do something about that. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Yesterday, I was fortunate to have the television set on and watching a newscast when former Army helicopter pilot Amber Smith was being interviewed about ISIS and terror in general. Now, these are not my words. I'm paraphrasing from what she said yesterday, and I can get the transcript to prove it. She said Obama is so naive and incapable right now of fighting this war with ISIS. And she said it is time to take the gloves off and let our military fight, kill, and destroy the enemy. I could not agree more. Ladies and gentlemen, this mamby-pamby approach to our enemies has got to stop. There has to be that junkyard dog attitude. There has to be letting our military go and defeat the evil that's out there coming after us. You can no longer have this liberal barnyard fecal material ideas. It's nothing. It's not going to work. Whether it takes waterboarding, whether it takes sleep deprivation, I don't care what it takes. We need the answers to questions about all these, in the words of James Comey yesterday, staggering array of possible terror attacks. We need to know, we need to be definitive, and we need to take action. Oh, the liberals are out there they're just puffing up like big fat toads right now. Well, you can't do that! I do not want to see another news story with anybody laying face down on a table dead. I do not want to hear about families that are spending this close to Christmas and they're standing around a hospital bed hoping and praying that their loved one can get off the resuscitation devices and breathe on their own. I don't want to see that anymore. If it means going after the bad guys and literally wiping them off the face of this earth, then it is high time, past time to do so. In no uncertain terms, there should be no rules or regulations or holds barred. It's about time that we started protecting us. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Please, give me a jingle. I want to say thank you very much to Christine Pickup. She's going to be on the air with us a little bit later on this morning, and I thank her very much. And she is, of course, over at Mount Harrison Audiology. Oh, my goodness sakes. Wonderful, wonderful people over there at Mount Harrison Audiology serving you. So don't forget, if you have a hearing problem, you call for a hearing screening today at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And she, along with her staff, they can definitely help you. Please remember Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, and they're located right across from the Minidoka Memorial Hospital, and the number 312-0957. Caller, please bear with me just a moment. I'll be right there, I promise. Thank you very much. Also, my good friend, I've known this family for years and years and years, the Greenwells, and Nick Greenwell, physical therapist, has headed up a great business to serve you. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Oh, all the exercises to help you get back to being you. The hydrotherapy pool with the treadmill, and of course all the sports medicine, and people that really know how to help you. Call for an appointment today, 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, sir. Us going into these wars and fighting them as a political war instead of a war that we're going to win, it's, let's fight it like we did World War II. And I'll guarantee you, if we send the guys over there with their both hands out in front of them instead of them both tied behind their back to fight these guys, you take 2 months, we'd have them on the run.
Doug, there's no question, but where did we go wrong? It started after World War II with this attitude of capitulation and, like you stated, one hand tied behind our back. And we have gone steadily downhill ever since then. And I don't care what anybody says. I don't care who calls this morning. America is not respected today.
We're not. When Reagan was in there and I can't remember who it was, killed some Americans over there. He bombed the president's house. Didn't hear anything from him until 25 years later when somebody went and apologized for it.
Let me ask you a question, and we've talked about this before, and give me a short answer on this because I've got other calls stacked up. Let's just say right now that you were a member of either Homeland Security or the FBI. And you caught two terrorists they had a complete plan of causing mayhem and murder here in this country. And you needed the information because supposedly there was a device that may go off within the next 48 hours. Would you just sit there and serve them ice cream and bonbons, or what would you do?
Well, first off, the life as they knew it wouldn't exist anymore. They would be in so much fear of their life and their families. I would threaten everybody. I mean, I would start at their grandmother and go clear down to their infant daughter. Unfortunately, a lot of people are going to get mad at that. But if you're going to save 1,000, even 10 people's lives by taking this one and torturing him just a little bit, I mean, how many people have died from waterboarding?
Well, let's just stop there for a minute. And by the way, Wheels, I need to have the callers turned up a little bit more, please. Let's just say that you knew about, this terrorist knew about the attack that was coming up in San Bernardino, California, and you needed the information so that you could defuse this situation, and the guy sitting right in front of you, I'll tell you what, straight up, Doug, I would go to any means, and you can underline any means and add to it whatever you want. I would go to any means to make sure that Americans were not dead and dying in a eating room at a senior center.
Exactly. That's exactly my point. I would take his family and everything. I mean, this guy would wish he'd never been born, or wished he'd never thought of even considering doing something like that.
Have you ever thought, though, that the liberals in our society, the crybabies, the wannabes, they will be the first ones to jump up and condemn a statement like I just made? Oh, well, that's un-American. Oh, that's un-Christian. Wait a minute. When it comes to not having another 911 with over 3,000 people buried in rubble, or having an attack like what we just saw in San Bernardino, nothing is out of line, and all things are on the table as far as I'm concerned.
And my comment back to the liberals that would say that's not who we are and stuff like that, say, okay, so then you condone cutting a man's head off on camera, you condone burning people alive in a cage, you condone lining people up and shooting them, you condone taking women and children, girls as sex slaves. You condone that, then?
Yeah, but you see, they live in a society where they honestly think, I know a lot of these people, and they're absolutely warped in their thinking, that if we sit down with the enemy and sing Kumbaya and make chocolate s'mores and hold hands around a campfire, they're going to love us.
Well, history's going to show that this president has done that, and what has it gotten us?
Don't even go there, Doug, because the list is too long for my program.
I know it. I mean, he sat down and sung Kumbaya with them and went over and apologized to them, and look where we are today.
Amen. God bless. Thank you for your call.
One more quick
yes,
comment,
sir.
if I got a second.
Go.
With the Democrats, the reason they're so mad right now, they've had 7 years of unbridled stuff where they push their agenda for 7 years without even being fought against, without any opposition, and it's failing. That's why they're so mad.
Well, their position on the way the world should be, with the, again, I'll refer back to the Kumbaya attitude. Look where we are today in our own country with a complete insecurity as to what might happen tomorrow, thanks to the completely brainwashed liberal thinking.
Exactly, and unicorns don't exist.
There you go.
They don't.
Amen, Doug. Thank you.
On America.
God bless you. Thank you. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I appreciate your call. We have to change things. And I know, as sure as I'm sitting here, that a lot of the liberals in this area, they're just, they're gnashing their teeth, and they're going and they're tearing their hair out. Oh, no, we need to love these people. Oh, really? I want to talk a little bit about another subject that is also, in my eye, terrorism at this time of the year especially. And we're going to get into that. Plus, I think what I'll do next, right after this commercial break, is talk to you about a producer, a television producer at Al Jazeera TV, and why he, the producer, was so upset. Stand by. Caller, I'll be right with you. Don't go away. Don't forget 4 Paws Bed and Bath for your doggies and your kitty cats and everything. 438-4444. They're going to have their huge annual Christmas open house on this Saturday the 12th from 12 to 4 p.m. Santa's going to be there, and he'll be sitting in a big chair, and the Dobermans and all the Australian sheepdogs and everything can jump up on him and have their picture taken with him. And they're going to have prizes and refreshments, and oh my goodness, it's going to be phenomenal. They've got all kinds of doggy clothing too. Oh, and if you're leaving the area for the holidays, call 4 Paws Bed and Bath, 438-4444, because you can leave them there and they'll love them. You better believe it. 370 West, 200 South of Rupert, 4 Paws. And don't forget, too, Sophie's Chatterbox. Oh, I got to tell you that you need to call right now at 436-0354 and get your Christmas order in for delicious pies and rolls and cookie and bread. Oh, and sugar cookies and all the designs and frosting. I love sugar cookies. Sophie's Chatterbox on the square in Rupert. You call them at 436-0354. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, Zip. What astonishes me about all these people, about the people who want to sing Kumbaya with these people, other people. I call them terrorists. I got different names for them, but they're not very nice. Anyway, they want to do that. Don't they realize that if we just let them in, and when they get here, they're going to cut their head off too, and they're going to enslave their girls and their daughters and their wives. They'll kill them. Do they not realize that it's not that we're Americans and they hate Americans?
Well, it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier for liberals with a liberal slant to write op-eds in a local newspaper and call the rest of us blowhards, call the rest of us evil, and say that the rest of us are poisoning the country. It's a lot easier for them to always shift the blame over to another segment of society when they sit back there and they sing Kumbaya and think that they're just so much the elitists of our populace. It makes me sick.
Well, they're going to be the ones who perish too. You know, they're not exempt just because they try and show them some compassion. To these kind of people, that's weakness. You know, and I remember hearing stories about Indians, like the Apaches and what have you, the Blackfeet. You know, and the Pawnee. You show weakness, they're going to kill you.
Yeah.
You have no pride, no bravery.
You know,
and that's the kind of the way I look at these people. They don't care who you are.
I appreciate
They don't care at all.
I appreciate your call, and thank you again, and Merry Christmas to you. Thank you so much. Thank you. This story about this television producer, I touched on it briefly on Monday's program, but I didn't get a chance to finish it, and now there's even more coming out about it. I've got to tell you this. A TV producer for Al Jazeera TV was absolutely outraged. Listen carefully to what I'm saying to you. He was absolutely outraged that certain news media here in the United States, one of them being Fox News Channel, that they would show the Muslim woman, Farook's wife, without her burqa covering her face. He was enraged about that. He called it disrespectful. This Muslim woman had just killed 14 people, and along with her so-called husband, had shot and injured 21 more. And this Al Jazeera TV producer was outraged because the news media showed her face without her burqa? Heaven help us. I just cannot imagine. And by the way, this producer was here in the United States at the Al Jazeera network, and he was outraged because they showed a picture of her face without her burqa covering it. Is that where we're at right now? Somebody can do the most heinous of all crimes, murdering innocent people, and we are being told that we're disrespectful because we showed the face of evil? Audience, to me, it's incomprehensible. I can't even understand or fathom this. Your thoughts. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Wow, I'm just blown away by this. While I'm waiting for your calls that I know are coming in, I'll go ahead and give the weather forecast right now. And Mad River Laser at 502 East Street in Rupert, oh my goodness, they're going to have a holiday open house this coming Saturday. Everything in the store is on sale, including up to 50% off on home decor items. And boy, they've got all kinds of great Christmas present ideas over there. Extended store hours on Saturday, and Christmas ornaments will be engraved while you wait at Mad River Laser. Oh, that's a good store. Fun store. Here's Gina with the weather.
It's Thursday, December 10th, 15 days left until Christmas, and here's what we're looking at weather-wise. Looks like showers for today, plus it's going to be windy out of the southwest, right around 17 miles an hour. High of 46 is what we're expecting for today. Tonight, low of 28. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, winds dying down, high of 39 with an overnight low of 27. Morning snow showers are possible for Saturday, slightly breezy, high of 38 with an overnight low of 31, and then rain showers possible for Sunday with a high of 43. Yesterday's high was 60, and the overnight low was 33. That's your weather for Zebra Duran.
Very well done, as always. Thank you, Gina. And Mad River Laser, 502 East Street in Rupert. Great big open house this Saturday. All right, give us a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Last night, I caught a little bit of the O'Reilly factor. I hope some of you saw this so that you can call in and give me your ideas about it. But Bill O'Reilly, you know I don't like the guy. And sometimes on various subjects, I will give him kudos. I will give him compliments on various items that he talks about and discusses. Most of the time, Bill O'Reilly rides over the guests to the point where their opinion really isn't necessary or given, and I find that shameful. And we'll take this call, and I'll come back to O'Reilly in just a few minutes. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Well, that's the subject that, you're talking about, O'Reilly. He talks out of both sides of his mouth. Because on one hand, he says, well, we've got to have security. Then everybody's condemning Trump and Cruz and anybody that's opposed to bringing in these refugees or any kind of Muslim immigrants at this point in time. And so, he talks out of we've got to have safety. He gets all these people on there that talk about the fact they can't vet them and so forth. And so when somebody talks about it, then all of a sudden, we can't do that. Well, they've done it before. And, of course, it's been brought out in 1952. There's a law that's on the books that was used by Jimmy Carter, no less, to keep the Iranians out of here during that hostage crisis. So, it's already been done several times to keep people out of here that are going to kill us.
Let me ask you this, caller, and I want to make sure I got other callers waiting. I want to read this sentence or this paragraph to you again, and I know that you are deeply involved in political movements and understand what's going on. But the Times News had this op-ed piece the other day, and I know you read it and pondered over it, but I'll read it again, and I want your short response on this. Unfortunately, blowhards like Trump and others locally who have aligned themselves against the College of Southern Idaho's Refugee Center and Muslims in particular with evil in their hearts are poisoning this country. I personally took a lot of offense at that. What are your thoughts?
Well, absolutely. I I mean, the prime function of government is to protect its citizens. And the Refugee Committee here, I know a lot of those members, and number one, they would never do any vandalism type of thing. And let's just pointedly, maybe it was one of their own people that did the vandalism to get national attention. That Hitler did it, and he burned down the whole Reichstag building to get sympathy against the communists. So I'm saying we don't know who did this. I don't know anybody in our, in the committee members that I know would even think about like that. Well, but the whole thing is, the Times News editorial staff is dumb way over. I mean, there's no common sense. They need to get real in the fact that they talk out of both sides of their mouth.
All right, let me interrupt you right there, Adrian. Adrian, let me interrupt you for a second, because on this program, and you've been a faithful listener for years, you have never heard me preach about violence to any person or persons or group of people. And I absolutely, when callers have called and started down that trail, I've cut them off. And for us that are very concerned about what's going on in this country right now, as are many with Homeland Security and the FBI and many others, and our concern is now being called being blowhards, and we're evil, and we're poisoning this country, I absolutely wish that Travis Quast and his band of merry men over there and women at the Times News would have the guts to come up and tell me that to my face.
Well, absolutely. They just hide behind their newspaper editorials, and of course, there's never when those come out, you don't know who wrote the article. They never want to take claim. They'll just pass the buck on that. But no, I took offense to that as well, and I'm sure anybody that's trying to protect this country. And number one, Article 4, Section 4 says to protect us against invasion. The one thing that's never been discussed, or not even on the radar screen, is the fact we have millions of Americans that are out of work. We have a national debt that's approaching $19 trillion, and we're 91% of all these refugees are on welfare programs. We have all these people that are coming in here taking our jobs because they're cheap help, they're cheap labor. Nobody wants to discuss those things.
Yeah, I agree.
It's in addition to the safety problem. Then, of course, the jihadists, and there's two kinds of jihad, as you well know, the terrorist jihad, like happened in San Bernardino and Paris, but there's also the immigration, and
I got to go, Adrian. I got to run, but I want to reiterate.
Europe, just let me finish one point. Europe is being taken over without hardly firing a shot because of the Muslim immigration over there.
All right, now
what's going to happen here if we don't get it stopped?
Let me reiterate what you're saying, though, with some facts. And you just mentioned that about Europe. 65% of Syrian refugees cannot read or write, and by going either to Europe or here to the United States will be for their lifetimes on welfare. We cannot absorb that cost. Adrian, I got to run. Thank you so much.
That's absolutely right. So, folks, wake up. Call the governor. He could stop this if he would, but he's just on pause right now. We need to pause all this immigration stuff, period. All immigration, not just Muslims.
All right, sir. Thank you for your call. I appreciate it. Yeah, now I got these facts this morning. If somebody wants to say, well, you just made that up. No, I did not make that up. Nearly 2/3 of Syrian refugees are illiterate. This is right straight out of Washington, D.C. and the Daily Caller. Okay? Which leaves hundreds of thousands of new arrivals without the ability to get a job. And they'll probably be on welfare for all their lives. I don't know. I just absolutely don't know where common sense went in this country. Somebody must have boxed it up, taken it out of the harbor of either New York or off the coast of California and dropped it in the ocean someplace, and it can't get out of the box. I have no clue as to what happened to common sense for the United States of America. Somebody call me and tell me where you think it went. I have a little story about a sick, pathetic man in Ohio, and I want to get to that story in just a moment. Don't forget, Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations. Wow. You talk about efficient. You talk about working for you. You talk about service. Oh, my goodness, they are good. They've got all your snow tires. They've got all the treads. They've got all the studded tires. They've got the snow wheels. They've got all the tire chains. By golly, you'd better get in there today. I heard they're calling for more snow. The angel dandruff is coming in. Be careful. And, of course, the very best in brake service, along with professionally trained technicians. Oh, they're good. Front-end alignment, shocks and struts, and the best in batteries. All of this and much, much more with Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, John on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. The best, your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers. There's this guy in Ohio, and he hates Christianity. I think that's obvious. He put up a nativity scene, and I really underline the words nativity scene on his yard. And all the members of the nativity scene have bloody zombie heads representing Jesus, Joseph, Mary, the wise men, etc. He has his free speech, but then also I got to thinking about it, I have mine also. This man is a disgusting piece of rotting flesh that I believe will serve eternity in hell. And I hope so. To denigrate the nativity scene, the birth of Jesus, in that way. And again, I know he has the First Amendment rights. I find this so appalling. And so, such an attack on Christianity. A blatant attack, along with many others. And then we are told as Christians that we have to accept all the garbage that's being thrown at us and turn the other cheek. I don't know about you. I've just run out of cheeks. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Please give me a call and let me know your thoughts. Next hour, I'll just give you a quick note while I'm waiting for some calls to come in. We're going to have the Chamber Report with the lovely Kay Cameron, and then go over to Minidoka Memorial Hospital. Mark Phillips is going to be on the air with us. And then also Dog Nation with Ken Mort. And then a lady that I absolutely look forward to having her on my program every week, and that's Rita Ramsey. And that'll be at 9:30 this next hour, so don't forget about that. Another thing, too, is the liberals and their cartoons and their depiction of us as conservatives, and whether you like the guy or whether you don't like the guy and his policies, Donald Trump. Cartoon in the paper this morning, and again, First Amendment rights, they have a right to draw this cartoon, and they've got Trump looking very evil and sinister with the slogan on his baseball cap, "Make America Hate Again." I am sick and tired of the liberal left, and this goes right to the Times News and their so-called editorial staff, and cartoon drawers, if you will, that have made these cartoons, "Make America Hate Again." I don't want to hate anybody. I do not want to hate anybody. But when actions and speech and negativity and insecurity come into our lives, it's time to stand up with a uniform and unified voice and say enough. Enough. We have got to do something to clean up this country. We have got to do something to put the pride back in America again. We have got to do something so that when mothers tuck their kids in at night, there's a security there that America is strong and America will do what's right to protect everybody here. And I dare you to tell me that feeling is in this country right now. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, Deb, the people that perpetuate this insanity, you say, do they not have anything in their head enough to decide for themselves, or are they just so blindly obedient to this administration and what it does? I just don't know. Loretta Lynch, some guy said she was a great lady. Was she threatening to prosecute you and I for speaking out?
Yeah.
We have a right to speak out, and we had better speak out, because it's just like with these terrorists down there in San Bernardino. They didn't even know. They didn't even... how many others are just sitting under the surface ready to explode, and where are they?
Well, that's the whole reason for my first commentary this morning. When you have FBI James Comey saying there is a staggering array of possible terror attacks, that doesn't make you feel very good for the security of your family, does it, Randy? And I've only got 10 seconds left.
Yeah, I have children all over this country, literally from coast to coast, with children. I tell you, you say, oh, it'll never happen to you. Well, when it does, how are you going to feel about it?
Absolutely. Good way to end it. And, Randy, thank you for your call. I just wished I had a little bit more time. Thank you, sir. Got to run to the CBS News. Let's see what happened now. We'll be back in 6 minutes. Well, good morning on a Thursday. Woo! Look out one window and it looks really, really not too bad. You look out the other window and wow, it's kind of dark outside. Good morning, Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, and all 7 locations serving you. Thank you, Les Schwab, along with some of our great advertisers, including Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. We're going to go to the Chamber of Commerce momentarily, but first of all, I want to remind you, every day when we start the show, we have the weather brought to you by Cheney Flooring and Home Design at 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for the blue door, all your carpet, flooring, kitchen construction, home decor, whatever you need to make your house a home at Cheney Flooring and Home Design. Wonderful, wonderful people. Also, real quick, Merry Christmas wishes. I know Kay's waiting, and I'll be right there, I promise. Merry Christmas wishes from Butte Irrigation, 116 South, 600 West of Paul, and on Kimberly Road. You better believe it, just north of Kimberly. You're a Zomatic dealer. They'll get you wet. Thank you, Butte Irrigation. Merry Christmas. And Burley Glass with our dear friend Gentle Ben and the crew at 1029 Overland in Burley. Number to call, 678-1459. Burley Glass wishes you a very Merry Christmas. Along with Senator Kelly Anthon. Nice man. He wants to wish all the good people in Minnecasia a very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, as does also Representative and Speaker of the House Scott Bedke, wishing all of his constituents a Merry Christmas and a blessed Happy New Year. Thank you very, very much. Real quick also, there is a family that is always involved in community events, and that's the Heward family, led up by Joel Heward, his staff, his family at Hanson Mortuary. Wonderful people serving you. And they're located at 710 6th Street in Rupert, and the number to call, 436-5636. When there's the passing of a loved one, please rest assured that they will always at Hanson Mortuary uphold the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity in serving you and your family. Please call today, 436-5636, Hanson Mortuary in Rupert. Right now, a lovely lady over at the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce, and she's all dressed up as a little bitty elf this morning and trimming the Christmas tree and putting on all the tinsel. Good morning, Kay Cameron.
Good morning. I don't know about the elf part, but it is a great day. It's a little breezy out there, but it's really not too cold, so that's kind of nice.
Well, I guess I should ask this question because we only have 14 shopping days left till Christmas. When did you want me to come over and unwrap the present that you bought for me?
When do you want to come on?
Kind of staggered you a little bit there, didn't it, lady? But anyway, are you all ready for Christmas? Have you done all your shopping?
I am mostly done, yes. It's pleasant feeling to be. I still have a lot of wrapping to do because I haven't started that process yet, and that does seem to take a bit of time, but I am mostly ready.
What about the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce? What's going on right now leading up to Christmas?
Well, today we have our chamber luncheon at the Wilson Theater at noon, and it's our legislative day. We're excited to welcome our local legislators to hear what we might see in the upcoming legislative session as far as issues that will affect our businesses here in the Mini-Cassia area, and so we look forward to that every year. Gearing up for the end of the year, though, we're just kind of doing some of our year-end sort of things, and we have had a lot of people in buying fun items in our gift shop for last-minute Christmas shopping, and we're just really enjoying this time of year.
Well, you should. That's something you just said, though, Kay, that I think should be reiterated and reimbursed, is that we should enjoy this time of the year. Life is too short. There's too many other things that are trying to take away from our enjoying the families in this time of the year. Take the time today, sit down, take a deep breath, and enjoy.
Absolutely. Enjoy your loved ones, and just enjoy all of the excitement and just kind of the feeling that comes with this time of year. You see all the Christmas lights and all of the Christmas trees and the festivities, and it really just does bring about a great spirit in the community. And just take a moment and think about it and ponder on it and enjoy the holiday season.
Now, if people have questions, or better yet, stop in and see that wonderful gift shop you've got over there, how do they get hold of you?
Come by and see us. We're located at 1177 7th Street in Hayburn. It's just right on the Snake River. Hard to miss. Give us a call at 208-679-4793. Find us online at minicasiachamber.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
And remember, put this on your calendar, that on December 23rd, we're going to have the open house right here in the studio. You've been here before. We're looking forward to having you back.
Okay, I will put it on my calendar.
All right, Kay Cameron, Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce, thank you so much.
Thank you.
God bless.
Bye-bye.
Nice lady right there. Chamber of Commerce, Kay, all the crew, thank you. Hey, don't forget, if you're over in the Rupert area, oh my goodness sakes, right there on 270 Highway 24, between Rupert and the world, let's ride, where the fun is sold. They've got X-brand goggles, 35% off. They've got select T-shirts and sweatshirts, buy one, get one free. Oh, they've got the snow plows for your four-wheelers. You can have fun and at the same time get a job done. I'm telling you what, it's all there at Let's Ride. Super nice people serving you once again at 270 Highway 24, between Rupert and the world, where the fun is sold. Let's ride. By the way, if you're over in that neck of the woods, don't forget too, Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. And of course, the number to call for an appointment to go over and make sure your protection policies are in effect. Life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, 436-4424. They are the best, dedicated and responsive to your needs. Cameron and Siemens Insurance. Highway 24 in Rupert, 436-4424. Wow, let's go to the phone line right now, and it's time to talk about our friends at Minidoka Memorial Hospital at 1224 8th Street in Rupert. General information number to call, 436-0481. Your health is so important. You want to work with the best that really care, and that's your friends and neighbors at Minidoka Memorial Hospital. And with us this morning is a man that's going to be talking about emergency response from Minidoka Memorial Hospital, Mark Phillips. Good morning, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Not too bad. Well, tell us a little bit about what you do and what your daily activities are in serving the public. Go ahead, please.
Okay. I am I work with the ambulance here in Rupert. I have been here several years. I'm the assistant director. And basically my day-to-day business is responding to calls and helping out in the emergency room, things like that.
You are literally, Mark, you and your staff, you are the first line of defense in trying to keep somebody literally alive and get them to a situation where their lives can be saved. Is that not true?
That's correct. That's correct. We basically, with injuries or illness, we're the first step in getting somebody to the right care, appropriate care, as quickly as possible.
Now, let me ask you this. What about the training and what goes into obtaining a position like you're in or the rest of your staff? What do you have to do for training and education?
Well, first of all, you start with a basic EMT course offered through the College of Southern Idaho, or we do some in-house training on occasion. And after several years of working as a basic EMT, then you can move up and take an advanced course, also through the college, or we're actually doing one again in-house to try to help get our numbers up a little bit. But, it's several months of study, several months of hands-on. Then you have a national registry test you have to take to be able to get certified and then apply for Idaho state licensing.
So literally in a different scenario situation, and every scenario is, I'm sure, different to some degree, you have to be trained to just jump in at the drop of a hat and try to save that life, right?
That's correct. Every day brings something a little bit different. It could be just somebody not feeling well to actually having to deliver a baby. So you have to kind of know everything but in the middle, and you never know. That day you come to work, you don't know what you're going to roll on.
What would you tell the public this morning? And I appreciate some of the list of thoughts that you sent over to us, but what would you tell people that are listening if they're sitting at home watching television, or it's early in the morning and all of a sudden a member of their family has a heart attack or a stroke? What should they do?
Okay, I'm glad you asked, because we are going through some stroke protocols and some cardiac protocols that we're updating, basically our response plan. And the biggest thing is recognition. If you think your loved one having a stroke, there's a quick acronym. It's called FAST. First of all, you look for the F stands for facial droop. Second one would be some kind of arm grip or weakness. If you hold your arms out in front of you, you might not be able to hold one of them up. And then S would be some difficulty in speech or slurred speech. And then T is time. Time meaning when was the last time your loved one was actually seen well.
Okay.
They didn't have any signs. And then you need to call 911 and get that response as quick as possible, because when it comes to stroke and cardiac, time is muscle and time is cell. So the longer you go, the more chance you have of having problems or bigger problems. So if you call 911, our folks are going to show up. We know that, we're going to look for the same things. We're going to initiate the response from the scene, and our hospital is a designated stroke center. So in a stroke case, we will be coming back here to get a CT within 30 minutes, give you medications to help dissolve the clot if it's the type that can be. And then if it's cardiac related, we're obviously going to be doing 12 lead EKGs in the field, and with a proper diagnosis from the ER doctor, we will be shipping probably to Twin Falls. It's the closest cardiac cath lab.
All right. Now, Mark, let me ask you this.
Recognition.
Let me ask you this question, and I need to define this a little bit. Some people might have a question as to what to do. Should they try to look up the number of the ambulance service, or just simply dial 911?
Yeah, correct. Just dial 911. Our dispatchers are also trained in this TSE protocol. So if you think you need help, call 911. A lot of people don't. They think, well, I'll just drive in, or I'll be okay. But call 911. Let our crews come out and evaluate you, and we can go from there and make a plan on getting the correct treatment. So definitely call 911, get the whole ball rolling that way, and we'll get you where you need to be.
Okay, now, Mark, one of the things I was thinking about, even before I got this kind of a cheat sheet on asking various segments of your job, you and your staff, I mean, whether it's an auto accident, whether it's a burning, maybe because of a Christmas tree going up in the home, or maybe it's somebody fell off a roof and broke a leg, I can't even imagine some of the different scenarios that you're exposed to. What's the scariest or the worst scenario for you and your EMTs to be involved in?
You know, I think for the most part, we train for just about everything. I think the thing that is probably the scariest would be anything involving a child. You know, we don't deal with child patients every day. You know, we're not a pediatric center, so I think that's probably the toughest thing, and this is the thing that we have to brush up on the most, because we don't see pediatric patients all day long and every day. So I think that any scenario, whether it be car wreck or it be an illness or a seizure or something, when you're dealing with, a child, it's pretty scary.
You know, the thing that amazes me, though, about EMTs and the people that are the first responders, there is no hesitation. They are there, they know, they jump in, and they go. That really gives you a high mark for being highly specialized and educated.
Well, we definitely try, and we do train. And the group of folks that we have working here and throughout the county with our quick response units and stuff.
I lost him all of a sudden. Is he there, Wheels? He's gone. I think his cell phone might have died. We do not have a connection right now. Do you have him on the air?
I don't. It just hung up, but I can try again.
Yeah, try him real fast, and while you're doing that, I'll do a quick commercial, and all of a sudden he just left. I have no idea what happened. We did not hang up, so stand by. While I'm waiting to get Mark on for a couple of final thoughts, I want to remind you, too, about all the Santa specials going on at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland and Burley. Oh, my goodness, no money down, no interest, 12 months on approved credit. Wow! Santa Claus really left some great buys for you at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. I mean, we're talking bunk beds, and we're talking all the dinette sets. Oh, my goodness sakes, and the couches, and the sofas, and the recliners. You don't want to pass this up. Treat yourself at Christmas time. Stop into Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland and Burley. Santa specials are waiting for you. Wheels, do we have him back?
We do, sir.
All right, thank you. Mark, I have no idea, but I hate cell phones, and that's why they're so unreliable. It's good to have you back on the air. Finish your thought about the training, if you would, please.
Yeah, so I don't know how much you got, but, our QRU units and the ambulance, we all train together. The folks that respond out there even before the ambulance gets there to assist us, we've been working together a long time, and it definitely kind of elevates us all to that next level, and we do a great job. They make our service definitely what it is having those responders that do things voluntarily and show up to help out and stuff. It's pretty awesome.
Mark, last question this morning. Are you looking for more people to get involved? And if you are, how would they go about getting the information and or the telephone numbers of who they need to talk to?
Sure. It seems like we're always needing help, and I know the QRU units are needing help. If you're interested in EMS work, you can call out here to the hospital and ask for me, and I can kind of tell you what the next step would be. As far as the fire departments, if you're wanting to volunteer with a QRU unit or something like that, get a hold of your local fire agency, because they all have a quick response unit, and kind of see what they have as far as needing assistance or needing help for responding to emergencies and stuff.
Okay. Mark, I appreciate your being on our program this morning. Thank you so much on behalf of the EMTs and Minidoka Memorial Hospital. God bless and Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you. You have a good one.
All right. Thank you very much. Minidoka Memorial Hospital at 1224 8th Street in Rupert. General information number to call, 436-0481. Your health is so important. Work with the best that really care at Minidoka Memorial Hospital. We're going to have our next guest on the program in just a moment, but stand by. I also want to remind everybody about Red's Trading Post. Oh, my, they've got all the guns, all the accessories, everything for your protection and your family security. Don't forget they've got Browning, Beretta, Weatherby, Ruger, Benelli, Smith & Wesson, Winchester, and all the accessories, like I said, along with all the ammo. And the people there really understand and know guns. Stop in today at Red's Trading Post, 203 5th Avenue South in Twin Falls. Since 1936, an historic Old Town Twin waiting to serve you. Holy smokes, where'd all these dogs come from anyway? Where are they all? We got dogs running all over the place. Look out for that poodle over there behind that fire extinguisher. Holy smokes. Good morning, Officer Ken Mort with Minidoka Animal Control.
Good morning, Zeb. How are you today?
I'm not bad. Are you ready for Christmas?
Yes, I am. After we've gotten all of our Christmas got, so now it's no longer having to wait till the last minute to go and get them final gifts. It's all taken care of.
I hate people like you.
Well, what helps me out is my wife and my mom and my sisters all go do the Black Friday shopping thing and get all the Christmas taken care of on that day so that we don't have to worry about it later on.
I came within seconds yesterday of breaking down and entering a store to shop, and then at the last minute, common sense prevailed.
I can understand that one.
Okay. What's going on in the doggy world?
Well, we are officially moved. I've still got a little bit of stuff over at the old facility that we're not currently using, and that's still got to be moved. But we are up and fully operational over at our new facility at 50 West, 200 South of Rupert.
Holy cow. I'll bet you stuck your chest out and said, "Yup, we did it."
Yes, I did.
Well, what do we got to feature this morning? Any dogs?
Actually, right now, we don't have anything available for adoption. It's everything that we've got. I've got 4 dogs that are scheduled to leave tomorrow, and I've got 2 that I picked up over the last couple of days. I got to hold for 5 days, and that's all we got.
So you're sitting there at the desk with your feet up on the desk, drinking a hot cup of chocolate, just not doing a doggone thing.
Oh no, I'm still out there. I'm chasing people's dogs home, getting them put away, trying to link up with them to either give them a warning or give them an actual citation. I mean, I'm still out there beating the streets. So.
You know, Ken, I want to ask you about something, and I don't mean to get sidetracked here a little bit, but I saw something the other day. We were at, and I'm not going to mention where it was, we were at a large department store type thing with a big parking lot, and a guy pulled in, and he had not one but 2 Dobermans in the back of a pickup truck. And he parked in the parking lot where cars were parked on the left, cars were parked on the right. And I sat there and I was watching this. And pretty quick, here come a mother and 2 kids to get in the car on the right side. And the dogs went nuts. And the mother and the 2 children, why, I just hate to imagine what would have happened if one of those dogs would have got a hold of one of those kids. Is there something against having dogs like that to where people can't even get in their cars?
You know, I have looked and looked and looked, and there is nothing in the state of Idaho or in any of the, like in our county or cities that have an ordinance on anything about having any kind of an aggressive dog in the back of your vehicle pulling into a public parking lot. Basically, their mentality on it is as long as the dog does not bite somebody, Annette, there's no cause for worry. But my opinion is people need, if they've got an aggressive dog and they're going to town, they need to leave that dog at home, because if it does bite somebody, Annette, then you've got an issue with an aggressive dog or a rabid dog, and that if it winds up being the second time, and especially in Minidoka County, if it winds up being the second time that it has bitten somebody, it is considered a vicious dog and is to be euthanized.
The thing was, the poor mother, and these kids couldn't have been more than 5 or 4 years old, she had to go on the other side of the vehicle and try to get everything loaded up, try to get the kids in their car seats and everything else. It was very unhandy for her, and then she too had to slide in and try to slide across the console and get in. The whole thing was a severe inconvenience to her, but there was also a lot of danger one of those dogs might bite her or the children.
It is. I mean, and it is a major inconvenience for a lot of people, and there's a lot of people out there that are like, well, they're my dogs, I can take them wherever I want. You can't say anything about it, but be Annette, cognizant of the people that are going to be you're going to be around, Annette, with your dogs. If you're going to a public place, please just leave them at home so that you don't have an incident, because if you do have an incident, it's going to hit you in the pocketbook big time.
All right.
Not only if the dog bites you, not only are you going to get a citation for that dog biting at somebody, but you're also going to get hit with the responsibility of the medical bills, because it is it is your responsibility to be taking care of that. So
and I would imagine also a pretty hefty lawsuit.
Oh yes, I mean they can turn around. Matter of fact, we had a dog that had jumped out of a yard, cleared a 4-foot fence, went and attacked an 11-year-old boy earlier this year. Took a chunk out of his arm, and right now they're still in the legal system trying to get compensated, because they're not sure if this boy's going to have the proper use of the muscle in that arm where the dog took a chunk out of it.
Oh, my goodness. But now, in all seriousness, I am very happy to hear that you haven't had a rise in the number of dogs over there. That tells me, at this time of the year, I get really soft-hearted about anything that isn't being taken care of or something that's been neglected, and I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, and another thing, I mean, with the way the weather is, make sure your dogs have got a shelter, or that your animal or your pets have got a shelter to get in out of this weather, especially if you've got them outside. Unfortunately, and stuff, and that's the way the Idaho law reads. And as long as you provide shelter, it doesn't have to have heat in it, and as long as they can get in out of the elements of the weather, on that is considered a shelter. But at least make sure that they are being taken care of.
Absolutely.
If it's getting really cold, think about putting a heat lamp in there.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't want to be out there in your skivvies in the middle of winter and trying to stay warm with just a doghouse around you. I mean, take into consideration the stuff how you would feel out in those conditions, and try to make your dog and your pets more comfortable.
A lot of husbands can relate to that, being in the doghouse with their skivvies on. Never mind, we won't go there. But anyhow, Ken, God bless you, Minidoka Animal Control, and may I say you are going to be one of our featured singers at Denny's next week for our Christmas extravaganza. God bless you, and have a wonderful Merry Christmas.
And God bless you, Zeb, and you have a Merry Christmas, too.
Thank you very, very much. Where'd all these dogs come from anyway, for heaven's sakes? Holy cow, they're running all over the place. Doberman's dragging his leash. No, he's dragging the owner, too. Anyway, Merry Christmas, everybody. And right now, without further ado, we're going to talk to a lovely lady that every Thursday she's on our program. Good morning to Rita Ramsey. How are you, Rita?
Good morning. I'm real good.
Well, needless to say, I say this almost every week, you and I, so much alike in our political junkie atmosphere, as far as we just can't get enough as far as trying to absorb the news. Rita, this story that is in San Bernardino, California, it just keeps getting bigger and larger and scarier, and I don't know even what to think about how far this thing's going to go. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm on that rail with you. The thing of it is that we knew in our gut when that happened that this was not two people that just kind of got radicalized each other. That's been going on for a time. It took a while to do it. It took a lot of contacts with other people from other places, and they did what they wanted to do and what others wanted them to do. The big problem that should be concerning to all of us is that they let her into the country when they could have done an extensive background and found what these guys found just in the last week. They could have found all of that stuff without the shootings being involved.
Absolutely. Which leads me, there's so many different things we've got to touch on this morning. But did you hear about that television producer with Al Jazeera TV that absolutely went ballistic when Fox News and a couple of other network news put out the picture of this Muslim killer woman without her burqa on, and he said that was disrespectful. I'll be honest with you, Rita, I couldn't care less about respect. This woman, this vile vermin woman, killed 14 and helped shoot 21 others, and we're supposed to be respectful about her burqa? Are you kidding me?
The disrespect should have been, wasn't it disrespectful when she took someone's life? The end. That's what they should have said.
I just don't understand. The liberal mentality in this country is going off the cliff.
Well, The big problem is, and it's all totally out of control because people get away with it. I was reading an article where there was a conservative guy at a high school earlier this week, and he was actually giving a speech pretty much on finances and stuff, but because he's a he works for Breitbart, but because of the nature of his politics, there were a bunch of people that didn't want him in there, so they started making a bunch of noise, and the principal got up there and said, if you don't want him here, you can just be excused. Oh. And he started excusing people and letting them leave. He should have said, listen, we owe this respect for this assembly to this man. If you don't like what he's saying, that's fine. Just sit there quietly and be respectful. The end.
I do not.
It's like, no, let's let you go, and you can make a statement that way. And I mean, we wonder why there was problem over at Ms. U, and we wonder why the Black Lives Matter is getting the best of communities around the country. Well, it's because nobody has the backbone to stand up and say, we're not going to do this. We're going to respect the people's right to say what they want to say. If you don't agree, that's fine, but just be quiet.
Sit down, shut up, or get out. Those are the three basics that need to be adhered to in education. Since when did these punks, these snotty-nosed punks, when did they take over the presidency's job? When did they take over the leadership of these colleges and universities? My goodness, what's going on in this country?
Well, it all comes down to one thing, and I can't even remember what it was that I was listening to, but they were asking, how come this is so out of control and everything, and they started kind of listing a bunch of things. But what it all boils down to is parents.
I think
you as a parent teach your child that it doesn't matter how many are on that bandwagon, you have to uphold your end of being civil and respectful. And if you're going to allow somebody their First Amendment rights, they can allow you yours, but you don't shut each other down. And if it would start with parents and they would start doing that, and see, this is the big problem is, and I've explained this before, it kind of all started back with when the baby boomers started being born, and that was right after World War II. And they had gone through such a horrible thing, they didn't want their kids to have to go through any of that, so it's kind of like, no, we're not going to make them do anything, and then we end up with the hippie generation. And now it's the hippie generation or the grandparents of those, and it's just got extremely worse. People don't think they need to parent and tell kids right from wrong and help them understand that there are consequences. And it's just a crying shame, and we're going down the tube because of it.
I will say this, and if you don't agree with me, I'd love to hear your reasoning. When the Dr. Spockish types took over in child raising and rearing, that was the beginning of all the mess that we have today.
You're absolutely right, and I do not know the exact dates that happened or even the decade. I'm thinking it was in the 50s, which was right after World War II had calmed down and people started having families and stuff. But it's ridiculous, and it comes right back on parents. Parents have got to do their job. And if your kids are out of control right now and your grandkids, it's time to step in and start teaching them a few of the things that are going to be helpful in their lives, and it'll bring them happiness instead of sorrow and sadness, which is what it's bringing, and it's going to take down our nation if we don't get it under control.
If the instances like what happened at the University of Missouri, where the powers that be capitulated and they resigned from office instead of standing firm and saying, come to my office, we're going to discuss this and we're going to come up with a solution, and if you don't like it, get out of school. And then with the Black Lives Matter going into Dartmouth University and totally disrupting a library and all the studies for exams and yelling and screaming Black Lives Matter, which I think they should have been all corralled and bounced out the second floor window, this thing is going to grow like a cancer all across this United States.
Well, it is, and it's growing a lot faster than cancer even. I read an article also where there's a university, I can't remember where it is anyway, it's called, one of the buildings was named after, it's called the Lynch Building. And so these students are trying to get that changed because it sounds like those horrible things that happened to the blacks the slave times and even back in the 40s and 50s in our country, and it's really bad. Well, the guy's last name is Lynch, and he had done numbers of wonderful things for that university. And so they suggested, well, maybe we should just change the name of the building to say his whole name so it didn't sound like that. And that's not good enough. We've got to get rid of it. We can't have that kind of thing happening. It's like, so if I look at you cross-eyed, does that mean it's going to hurt your feelings? It's just out of control, and it's growing faster than cancer.
Well, it is, and it's not only in movements of where they're yelling Black Lives Matter and going through libraries, which is insane, but it's also in the millennials and that particular generation trying to take a big bar of soap and white paint, and they're trying to paint out different things that we can say, we can't say. If we're not going to do that, we're called bigots and hate mongers. Our whole society is being absolutely disrupted by these absolute liberal loons that think they're the elitist.
Well, that's really true, and they know that they can shout us down and call us racist, and we just shut up. And it's time that we start fighting back by using the words that they use. And when they start calling us racist because we're against the Syrians coming in here, the Muslims, they're not Christians, and that's the one thing that a lot of people don't know. That word isn't out there. These are not Christian Syrian refugees. These are Muslims because they won't let the Christians in. When they start shouting at us and telling us that we're racist and we're just against somebody's religion, we need to come back and say, you know what? It's not about that at all. It's about keeping our community safe. Are you going to be the one that takes the blame when something like this happens because something happens like happened in San Bernardino or other places? And just put it back on their shoulders and see how fast they talk about that. They'll just totally change the subject and let's go somewhere else with our conversation.
Well, I want to go back, and I've read it twice already this morning, but I want to read it again and have your response. I was mad. I literally mad over this op-ed that was in the Times News a couple of days ago. It was in Wednesday's paper, yesterday, pardon me. And what it was basically the liberals and the so-called knowledgeable op-ed staff of the Times News condemning people like you and I. Let me read this one paragraph to you, and then I want your response. Unfortunately, blowhards like Trump and others locally who have aligned themselves against the College of Southern Idaho's Refugee Center, and Muslims in particular, with evil in their hearts, are poisoning this country. That really upset me.
Well, it's absolutely true. And the very first problem is there's not enough information out there. People do not know the facts. They haven't learned about Islam. They haven't learned about the whole situation with the refugees and why and everything else. And then they haven't learned what's happened and what's going to happen. And the third thing is they will not assume responsibility if there's some terrorist things come out of this. How do we know that those fellows, or even girls now, we don't know, will not gather together in some rural settings and set up jihad camps? They've done it all across the country. There are some in Idaho, in northern Idaho, there's jihad camps. Or do we know there's not going to be some out south and west of, or east of Twin Falls, right here in our own Kasia and Minidoka counties and Jerome County down there? Do we not know that? We don't have any idea. But you know what? If those folks don't know the language, they will communicate with each other. And that's when they start becoming radicalized, because they're not trying to assimilate and come to our country to make it a better life for themselves. They want to bring their old country with them, and therefore that's why they shouldn't be here. You can give Donald Trump all of the heck you want over him saying, you know what, we need to close off the borders until our government finds out just exactly what the problem is and we can get it fixed, because that's exactly what we ought to do.
Rita, there you've touched on another subject, and I'm really watching this through jaded eyesight right now against the Republican Party. Since when does the establishment, the hierarchy of the Republican Party, since when do they override the people's choice in saying, well, we'll never let him be the nominee, we're going to get him? I mean, the people maybe are speaking that they want change away from the establishment, but yet these people like Lindsey Graham and the others, they're going to do all they can to go under the table and create their own environment.
Well, that's exactly what they're trying to do, and they have promised it, and I'm sure that they are actually digging and working and assembling and trying to get everything all lined up so that after the first couple of primaries, they can say, oh, we really need to bring back Mitt Romney or somebody because you really don't want who you voted for. We know better than you do. And that's what they're going to do. They're not going to settle for a non-establishment person. And they'll do everything that they can to put forward whoever they want. And you know what? It isn't just happening just back there in Washington. This is a nationwide problem. I got an article the other day. We're going to actually go over that article tonight at our Tea Party meeting. But I got an article that was some of the lawmakers or some of the, actually they are lawmakers for Idaho who are saying that the Tea Party people and any libertarians don't belong in the Republican Party, and we want you out. You are not going to be in our party. You make your own party if you want a party. So they're just trying to kick all of us out that don't see it exactly their way.
I don't like, nor will I stand for, anybody calling me a blowhard or calling me a person that's poisoning this country or calling me evil if they haven't got the guts to do it to my face. And also, I don't like groups that are trying to be holier than thou and act like they know more than anyone else, trying to dictate who is going to run, who isn't going to run, and why we should accept it. Then it's time for a revolution in this country.
Well, it really is, and people need to start standing up, and they need to start voicing their opinions. They need to write to their legislators and say, you know what? I'm a Republican. I've been voting Republican all of my life, but there are some definite big problems. It needs to start here in Idaho, and we need to have some more conservative things happening here because we're a conservative state, and start lining out those things to the representatives. All of a sudden, they'll start changing their mind. But right now, they're just trying to say, hey, you know, we've got to get rid of the ultra-conservative people. They won't let us have our way and just spend money and act like that, you know, there's no tomorrow as far as the checkbook goes. And it's right here, right in Idaho.
Absolutely. Please let me do the weather forecast, and I'll be back with more with Rita Ramsey momentarily. Stand by. Right now it's time for the weather, and it's brought to you by Mountain Transmissions. Oh, my goodness. The other day you got out in the four-wheeled wonder and put it in drive, and you didn't go anywhere. You tried reverse, and you didn't go anywhere. You have a problem, Bunky, and you better get a hold of Mountain Transmissions. They can repair all makes and models, cars, trucks, RVs, motorhomes, 4x4s, foreign and domestic. They can rebuild, and they've got a clutch repair service specialist. They are good. And they're located at 504 East Main in Burley. Mountain Transmissions, 678-9110. Here now is Gina with the weather.
It's Thursday, December 10th, 15 days left until Christmas, and here's what we're looking at weather-wise. Looks like showers for today, plus it's going to be windy out of the southwest, right around 17 miles an hour. High of 46 is what we're expecting for today. Tonight, low of 28. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, winds dying down, high of 39 with an overnight low of 27. Morning snow showers are possible for Saturday, slightly breezy, high of 38 with an overnight low of 31, and then rain showers possible for Sunday with a high of 43. Yesterday's high was 60, and the overnight low was 33. That's your weather for Zeb Duran.
Oh, thank you very much. Brought to you by some great folks that are now serving southern Idaho, Mountain Transmissions, and they're located at 504 East Main Street in Burley. Number to call, Rick and the crew, 678-9110. We're on the air with the lovely Rita Ramsey. And Rita, let me kind of shift gears a little bit because, boy, when it comes to Christmas time, and it comes to this time of the year to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, I am a little bit more than protective when it comes to complete imbeciles like this person back in Ohio that put up a nativity scene, and the wise men, Jesus, Joseph, and Mary all had the bloody heads of a zombie. zombie. I found that to be so disrespectful, I just absolutely had to stomp out of the room.
Well, it is, and those kind of people, they're just idiots, and I guess they can speak their piece with whatever actions they want to do. They're protected under the First Amendment as well. The big problem is you've got all of these people who are saying, oh, that this is a holiday and everything else, and they love celebrating it, but they won't say that it's Christmas. So what holiday are they actually celebrating? What's wrong with using the words Christmas? What's wrong with using the things that are symbolic of Christmas? If it offends you, don't look at it. You know, that fellow doing that really offends me too, but you know what? I'm not going to lay awake at night worrying about it. I'm just going to make a better chance of trying to explain to people when we talk about Christmas the reason for the season.
Yeah, but
and it's about the Savior and his life and his example and his death. And if people don't like it, it's kind of like, well, you know what? If you don't like it, maybe you should sign up to not get a paid holiday when that day is given to most everybody around the country.
I totally agree with you, but, here's the point I'm getting at, though. It's so easy for the left to criticize and condemn and damn, literally, Christians. But, if the same were on the other side of the coin, where something was set up as a display to do something negative towards Muhammad or Muslims, oh, Rita, look out.
Well, that's absolutely right. They can just come after us time after time, and it doesn't matter what issue it is. They're going to political correct us, and that is communistic. It comes from the communists. That's where the birth was of it. And if we let it go, we're just letting that grow and grow and grow. And we're just living in a world that we're just going to have to start standing up for it and say, you know what, you can say what you want to say, but I can say what I want to say too, and we can agree to disagree and turn and walk away.
Well, now, let me talk to you a little bit. I've got about 2.5 minutes left here, but a couple of weeks ago I had Jenny Beth Martin with the Tea Party, National Tea Party on my program, and I'm sorry you missed that, but what is going on? Why can't we get the level of excitement, if you will, back into the Tea Party and back into the news for protecting the American people?
Well, it has to do with there's all kinds of people out there saying, yeah, I believe in the same things that the Tea Party does, but don't ask me to come to a meeting or don't ask me to get informed or just ask me if I approve. Yeah, I approve, and that's the extent of it. We are going to have to fight back with knowledge, and that's the only thing that we can do is become informed about what's going on and go out there and spread it. But, there comes a time when you finally just have to say, you know what, I'm tired of screaming and hollering and saying, come on, get on board. Do you not understand common sense? Do you not understand that our country's going down the tubes? Do you not understand that we're in jeopardy of losing our Constitution because people won't stand up for it? You have to just turn and say, you know what, apparently they don't care, and you walk away.
Quickly, give me your response to more new information regarding Hillary, the Democratic magpie, while she was Secretary of State, and the information now coming out about Benghazi that, yes, help could have arrived to save those men. Your thoughts?
Well, that's the part that just makes you sick to your stomach, and I'm sure that those people who lost loved ones in that attack are just madder than mad can be, not to mention their, because of their loss. But the other thing is they're not going to say a word about it. How many places have you heard it on TV? I heard a brief little blurb on it, and that was about it, and Fox was included. I didn't hear it on any of the places that they were. Now, I didn't watch Megyn Kelly, but I watched all the rest. It has
been on quite a few of the shows, Fox and Friends in the morning, and then there's been quite a few different segments with Judge Napolitano. There's been quite a few that have been on Hannity. Yes, it has been covered on Fox.
Well, like I said, I heard it on one thing yesterday, and that was it. And there was numbers of them. You don't see it in the newspapers. You don't hear any of that controversy. And that's because the majority of the news media is on the side of the liberals, and we don't want anything to get worse. And, oh, by the way, this is just a Republican thing. They're just trying to discount Hillary and her leadership.
Yeah. Real quick, Tea Party meeting. Give us the facts and the location, and then I've got to run.
We're having our meeting tonight at 7 o'clock at the City of Burley in the City Council chambers, and we're going to be talking about the Fourth Amendment and the 68th Federalist Papers, which is on the electorate, and about Islam.
Okay. I'll tell you what, she is informed, and I really enjoy having her on the program. Rita Ramsey, thank you, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. Thank you. Bye.
All right, thank you. Nice lady right there, Rita Ramsey, and I really appreciate her coming on this show every Thursday. Oh, boy, you know what time it is? It is just a few moments before we got to leave and go back to the CBS News. But you know what? It's that time of the morning when the old hunger pains start hitting you going, oh, that bowl of cereal didn't do much. Well, now it's time to think about where to go for lunch. I'm going to tell you about where you can go if you're hungry and starving to death. How about Taco Bandito? Listen to this. How about Taco Bandito? They have a bacon with jalapeno burrito. Oh, my goodness, steak breakfast burritos. I had one of those the other day. Whew, great. And you know, they've got all kinds of delicious items on their menu, and you just got to get in there and enjoy. Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Let's move over to Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 west of Hayburn. Food made the way you love it. They've got buffalo burgers. Those are tasty. And one of my favorites, Steve-O's nacho fries, topped with cheese and jalapeno peppers. Great, friendly people, and you're going to love all the menu. Believe me, stop in and see them today. Steve-O's at 290 South, 600 west of Hayburn. Food made the way you love it. How about burgers, etc.? My goodness. Not one location, two locations. 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 Overland in Burley. They've got the eggnog milkshakes. I love eggnog milkshakes. And all the delicious burgers, you know, the bacon burgers and the cheeseburgers, and they've got all the onion rings and all the tater tots, everything. And on Sunday at the Burley location, they got a shrimp dinner special. Oh, you're going to love it. Nice people at Burgers, etc. in Rupert and Burley. And last but not least, the AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley. When you get done shopping, stop in there and have a mint milkshake for the Christmas holidays. Oh, yeah, along with a chicken fried steak sandwich. Knock your Tony Llamas off delicious. And the fries with the special sauce or the famous Farmer Brown burgers. Oh, my. Well, I'll tell you, it's delicious right there at the AC Drive-In. All you have to do is just stop in at 601 East Main in Burley today and enjoy. And those are just a few places to go when you're hungry and starving to death. And boy, am I. Okay, coming up next hour, we have Cassia County School Days, and with us this morning is going to be an information technology teacher. Tom Schmidt is going to be on the program. Then we're going to be talking to some friends of ours over at Berry Equipment and Rental. I think it's going to be Nick. It might be Juan, but they'll really know what's going on. It's going to be Nick? Okay, thank you, Deanne. And then at 10:30, a lovely lady, Dr. Christine Pickup. I think we overlook our hearing, and we need to take care of it, and I'm going to tell more about why and how with Mount Harrison Audiology, so don't go away. Zeb at the Ranch, we will be back in about 3 minutes. There you go. Welcome back, our last hour for this morning. Zeb at the Ranch, I'm Zeb Bell, brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, along with some of our great advertisers. We really want to say thanks to Ramsey Heating and Electric at, of course, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Right now, let's take a look at what's going on over at the Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley, for their special today. Chicken fried steak served with choice of potato, veggies, and super salad. You're going to love it. Everybody always does. The great food, the great menu specials at the Chadwick Sports Grill. Nice people over there, too. 139 West Main in Burley. Remember today's special, chicken fried steak at the Chadwick. Very, very good. Oh, my. Let's see what else have we got cooking. I want to remind you that next week we've got that remote broadcast over at Denny's. I'm going to be telling you more about that in just a few minutes. But right now I have some Merry Christmas wishes from these following folks. Joe Taylor, my friend. I'm so proud to know him. 1826 Overland in Burley with Carrie and Adams Realty. Buy or sell real estate. One call does it all. 678-9400. Joe Taylor, Merry Christmas to everybody. And KNR Rental, 256 South, 600 West of Burley. Locally owned and operated, and it's true. KNR Rental has it all. From air compressors all the way to lawn and garden equipment, they've got it all for you at KNR Rental, and they wish you a very Merry Christmas. And the friends and folks over at Haskin Insurance Service, 629 Fremont Street in Rupert. These are nice people. 436-4141. And they would like to extend to all their customers and everybody around the area a very happy and safe Merry Christmas from Haskin Insurance Service. There you go. All right. Well, you know, we have on the phone with us in just a few moments a gentleman that is with the tech center at the Burley Schools, and we're going to talk to him in just a moment. But I want to remind you that our Cassia County School Days is brought to you every Thursday by two wonderful sponsors, and they are Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley. And by the way, right now, that is the place to go for gifts for children for Christmas. They've got all kinds of family games, and right now all the toys and the games and the puzzles and books are 25% off, and the winter clothing is 25% off. You'd better get in today to a Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley. And also our friends at the Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland in Burley. Number to call, and remember, 677-8888. 677-8888. Every day your neighbors are receiving outstanding medical care and saving literally hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And many outpatient surgeries performed, like hand surgeries, life-saving colonoscopies, eye surgeries. Please call them, the Ambulatory Surgery Center, and they're located at 1344 Highland in Burley, 677-8888. Right now, with us on the telephone, Mr. Tom Schmidt, information technology teacher. How are you?
Not too bad, Zeb. How are you doing?
I am not a techie. I'm scared of it. Help me.
Well, I'm not sure if I'm a real tech right now. I'm calling you from a landline on a phone, on a corded phone.
Hey, no, wait a minute. Whoa. Right there, I'm going to take exception, because don't ever criticize it. That's the best in service, the most reliable. I hate cell phones.
Well, but remember how many people were probably yelling at Alexander Graham Bell. He cooked this up.
Well, I know, but you know, the quality still with cell phones and the cutting out, the cutting off. For a radio broadcast, line phones are absolutely heads and shoulders above cell phones.
Oh, even a cordless, I've had trouble there. So well, it is interesting how we run into some of these snags in technology.
Well, you know, I'm afraid. I'm not ashamed to admit this, Tom, but I am afraid of technology. There's a lot of things I don't know. There's a lot of things I don't understand. I don't like to sit in one place very long and try to ponder my brain as to how to run things. What can I do to make myself an improvement?
To make an improvement?
Yeah.
You know what I always look at is, you know, people that kind of shy a little bit with technology. It's always amazing to look at how far you've come, you know, because there's still people that'll be complaining, because it leaks into about everything we do. But I'm amazed at people that I've got a uncle that got an iPad for Christmas a few years back, and you would have thought that they maybe gave him a fruitcake or something. I don't know. His face was not too happy when he got that. And, I mean, you can't take it away from him now. You know, he clicks his app, and he likes the connectivity of Facebook, so he can see what's happening with family and friends. And so it's pretty interesting to see that transition.
Well, Tom, what about people, though? I'll get to the kids in a minute, but I think that I am one of many, many people now that can call themselves, I guess, senior citizens, that we didn't grow up with this, and now it's encompassing every aspect of our life. How do we learn it? Where do we go so that we're not embarrassed, and how hard is it to learn?
Well, I do know that CSI does have some classes That's a good question. Maybe I need to cook up some class.
Yeah, you do.
Or some basic tech would be cool. And you know, the neat part right now, and maybe you stumbled on this too, is, I mean, just the plethora of information that you have on YouTube is amazing.
Yeah.
You know, from how to disassemble something and fix something instead of just cute cat videos or something like that. I mean, there's so much info there and how-to that's really changing our world, or it's changed mine.
Well, let me ask you this, Tom.
Community and not have to worry, you know, about that I can't. The other people might not know what I'm doing here because I can just get that access. You know, if I'm fixing a car that maybe isn't a car you find around here.
Well, let me ask you this, Tom. You are the information technology teacher, and these kids today, I got to tell you kind of a cute story. When I first got my tablet, I wasn't sure how to get everything, and my little 4-year-old grandson is the one that really gave me the best in education. These kids today are really advanced.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you'll see that. It's very intuitive to them, which makes it cool.
Well, now, what about the kids at school over there? I understand that you have students that are learning how to develop apps for phones, and tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, so we're dabbling. That's kind of an interesting part about infotech, I guess. Like, if I was automotive, you know, a lot of the basics are the same. You know, I mean, they're definitely getting more technological, don't get me wrong at all. But, you know, I mean, you can go over some brakes or something like that and go through it. My stuff changes so much that stuff I've been teaching for 14 years, the stuff I was teaching 14 years ago, some of the basics are still the same, but, you know, we got to go with what, you know, there wasn't an app back then. So now you're seeing that software used to cost you, you know, hundreds of dollars to go get one piece of software. Now you can go get software for free or a couple dollars that, you know, rival the stuff back then. And so we're looking at this industry going, you know, that's still a vital industry. I mean, I don't see it going away at all. You know, that you can just click the app and off you go. And so we've just been kind of dabbling with learning how to make an app.
Well, now, when you...
so I'm not 100% the spokesperson for that. I'm learning as we go, too.
Now, when you teach a class, and I'm going to ask you, we're having some trouble hearing you, so I want you to really hold that phone up and talk up nice and loud.
Okay.
When you teach a class in information technology, and I'm kind of giving it a wide umbrella there, I mean, what do you do on a daily basis to give these kids all these new innovative ideas?
Well, I mean, looking at the app thing, that just kind of struck us as, you know, that's something neat that we can build some stuff. They can actually load it on a phone and show it. My class was kind of having a hard time that, you know, it really wasn't like say, an art class where you make an art project and then you come home and say, here it is. It's like, what'd you learn today? Oh, well, computers. You know, this was like, oh, this app, and this is how this works and everything else, and that made it really kind of that piqued my interest of trying to teach that, and so that really so we kind of leaned a little bit that way. We're also leaning another way too. There's a thing out there called Raspberry Pi, and you're like, what? And it's Pi, and that's it's been out a few years now, but it's a computer, and it's the size of like a credit card. It's about 2.5 inches high and about 3.5 inches long. I mean, you can put in a little box, and some of the things that you can do with this are kind of endless. You can make it like a little media deal that you could plug this into your home TV. And if your TV is not a smart TV, it can become a smart TV. You could, it actually can become a whole computer if you want to. You can make it like a media center so you can watch your Netflix. And if you have some movies that you've taken off your DVDs or something and put them onto it, so you can kind of have a media collection. You can have your pictures or anything like that all the way to making it, you can use it for like home automation. People are doing some neat things with this thing.
Okay. Now, this is a question that I've often wanted to ask somebody that is a real techie, and you teach it, so you'd know. But, and I'm not trying to be facetious when I say this question, but when we see the changes in our society and our environment from when I was in school in the 60s and in college to where we are today, it makes one wonder that's my age, how high is up? In other words, wow, what kind of changes in technology are we going to be seeing still maybe within my lifetime?
Within your lifetime. I'm just looking at, one aspect in our world that we all use every day is our car. And how ridiculous is it that our car can't send us a message on our phone that it's time to change the oil? Or this is starting to wear out, or all kinds of stuff. So our car is pretty dumb, but there's no reason that they couldn't, that there's not going to be some sort of, well, they're already doing this with the newer cars, that they're having stuff that'll talk to you, but even have some sort of retrofit for our vehicles we have now. It'd be kind of nice to, know what's going on instead of going, well, I didn't know that was, that I ran out of antifreeze or whatever else.
Right.
Just that aspect alone, we can see that there's a huge path. And the other one that we're slowly seeing some improvements is the medical field. My doctor now, he now types everything in. It's more of a digital record. Yeah, I know there can be some, everything's got a dark side, but it'd be pretty neat. I guess there was a story that a person was at St. Luke's in Boise and then went to I guess there's two there, went to one, and they gave him the medicine that he was allergic to, even though he usually went to the other hospital that was the same company, and somehow that record didn't change, so they gave him that, so it, put him even farther back in his treatment of whatever it was.
Oh, boy.
Stuff like that shouldn't happen.
Right.
It should be that should follow you or something. And so we're seeing that there should be some improvements that way in the future.
Let me ask you this question, Tom, and I'm just about out of time, but you would know this because you study this and teach it every day. Are we as a society becoming so dependent upon technology with new innovative ideas, etc., that there is a fear that people in general and students, young people, might lose their personality?
We're definitely a society right now that whatever piques us is kind of what's on the tip of our brain at that point in time. And so I've heard the stories where you see the kids that, for prom, and they're all together and they're all sitting together and they're all on their phones, not even interacting with each other. But then you go to the fair, and I know you're very familiar with the fair scene, and you see people walking around and talking and still mixing and mingling and watching a rodeo. And so I don't know. I know it's definitely integrated. I definitely know that when you're behind a person driving, you can always tell the person's driving a little squiggly. You know darn well what they're doing. And so that's a tough call. I don't know how it'll be integrated into our world in the future.
Well, let me ask you this part of it then, Tom, and we'll wrap it up. With all the new technology regarding information, are you as a teacher, are you afraid like I am that pretty soon all of our personal information will be readily accessible to anybody and everybody?
Well, I know they've had those fears in England forever. I know there's even artists that have written songs about that. Because if you did, let's say you contracted HIV somehow or whatever, and it could be totally innocent, whatever it may be, but if that information's out and that employer can see that prior to you going on there and knows what the ramifications for medical costs could be to his company, that's scary.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people have been pushing a lot of those agendas, too, to find out that, if that does leak out there, you could be as squeaky clean as possible, but there's always There's always something somebody can take a different way, I would imagine. So,
well, I want to tell you that if you get a course put together, Tom, for us old fogies, you give me a call, and I want to say thank you very much to Tom Schmidt, information technology teacher from the Tech Center. God bless and Merry Christmas, and thank you for coming on the program this morning.
Oh, thanks so much for having me, Zeb.
All right, take care. Thank you very much. That is one thing I've got to do, is I've got to become more tech savvy. I'm pretty dumb when it comes to that. We want to say thank you very much to Cache County School Days and our sponsors, of course, A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley, and also the Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland in Burley. The number to call, 677-8888. Okay. Now, we are going to, I believe, thanks to my good buddy Wheels over at the main station, we are going to run right over to Barry Equipment and Rental. And Wheels, do we have old Nick on the line right now?
He'll be on in a couple seconds.
All right. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Real quick reminder while I'm waiting for Nick. Next Wednesday, we're going to be at Denny's Restaurant at 611 Overland in Burley. That's next Wednesday. We're going to do the live remote broadcast over there. We're going to have Burley choir carolers that are singing Christmas carols. We're going to have door prizes. We're going to have Santa Claus there. We're going to have the Loot in the Boot to help with the money for needy families for Christmas. Ken Mort's going to be singing over there. Don't miss it. Please, Denny's Old Fashioned Christmas next Wednesday from 8 to 11 at Denny's at 611 Overland. It's going to be a lot of fun. Nick, are you there?
I am here, Zed. How are you?
I'm not bad. Holy smokes. Every time I go by your location at 159 West Highway 30, you must go out and change the location of that equipment every day. I'm telling you, man, you've got a bunch of equipment over there.
You know, we've been really successful with the loader rentals and sales lately. Same with the tractors. So we're not so much moving them around as selling some stuff and getting it out there. So.
You know, let's talk about the equipment a little bit. Now, there's a lot of people out there, probably like myself, that maybe they've got horse pens and corrals where their steers and they need to get all that cleaned up and everything. And, well, they don't really want to buy it, but they want to lease the equipment. Tell us what they do if they've never driven the equipment, they've never used the equipment. What do they do?
You bet. Yeah, just come on in, talk to myself or Juan over here. We'll get you set up on a piece of machinery. We have a 3-acre pit out behind our shop here that we use for demonstrations, for training, things of that nature. We'll have you be an expert by the time you're out the door. Pretty simple to do.
Have you had some funny happenings with people that were learning? Come on, share a funny story with us.
You know, everyone that we've had walk through the door usually has an idea of what they're doing. The only thing that we consistently do is back trailers in for people that can't quite get that managed.
I see. Now, the Bobcat skid steer loaders, just give us kind of a rundown of all the equipment that you have over there to get the job done right.
You bet. We have anything from skid steer loaders, like you're saying, to the large loaders, up to 4-yard buckets, bale spears as well. We have telehandlers for putting things on the roof or building new large buildings, air compressors, rototillers, anything from weed trimmers and leaf blowers, all the way up to those 90-horse tractors or 100 and some horse loaders out front as well, large excavators as well.
And what about those Doosan loaders? Those are big, tough dudes.
We've had a lot of luck with those lately, and not so much luck, just people try them, and we usually at least are in on the deal. We don't get 100% of them, of course, but the guys that are driving their own loaders really like them. We've got a handful of them spread out over the valley. And we've only been a Doosan dealer for, it's coming up on 2 years now, but we have yet to find anyone who is disappointed with their purchase. In fact, better than half of them are going to sign a new one in January.
Now, let's talk a little bit about leasing and or purchase. And like I alluded to a few minutes ago, maybe they need a Bobcat skid steer loader for maybe just a couple of uses on the farm or the ranch. But, boy, if they also want to buy one, they need it on a daily basis, you've got both options, don't you?
We do. And for leasing, a lot of the leases start out under $500 a month. That's for a smaller skid steer. We have them well equipped. Lease rates about $695 a month. Rental rates, of course, about $2,000 for the month. And if you want to purchase them, it just depends on your credit. But right now, we have 0% up to 60 months, skid steers and excavators.
All right. Now, the main thing people want to know is they know that you've got the equipment to get the job done, but what are the hours and where are all the locations of Berry Equipment and Rental?
You bet. So, obviously here in Burley, we're just a mile east of McCain Foods, right on Highway 30. Twin Falls, we're over by the old hospital on Addison Avenue. It's 465 Addison Avenue West. And in Jerome, I never remember their address. On South Lincoln. They're behind the auction house there. You get off the freeway and go past McDonald's and Walmart, and they're on the left behind the big auction house there.
Okay, and the hours?
Hours, Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 5:30. And Saturdays we're here all year round, 8 to 5.
Now, you know, of course, that Juan was very lucky during football season, and I think he won 2 breakfasts at Denny's. Did he share with you?
He did not. And, you know, I haven't told him yet, but we're going to let him go because of that.
I love it.
No, he did really well, though. I handed that over to him. He's more the sports guy.
Oh, well, listen. On behalf of my wife, Deanne, and myself, to you and everybody with Berry Equipment and Rental, 3 locations, Twin Falls, Jerome, and Burley, God bless and Merry Christmas, and thanks for being on our program this morning.
Well, same to you, Zeb. I appreciate it.
All right. Take care, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Those are the folks that have all the equipment that you need to get the job done right. And that's Berry Equipment and Rental. Really, really good folks. If you're wanting to buy and or lease, they can help you. I've got a little public service announcement here I've got to get on, and a very, very nice lady, Marion Wickham. She has sent a lot of information over from the Rupert United Methodist Church in Rupert, and she sent me this note that there is going to be, let me get this all straightened out here, American Falls Community Choir under the direction of Dan Bowman, accompanied by David Bowman, will be presenting their concert at the Rupert United Methodist Church at 605 H Street in Rupert next Monday, December 14th at 7:30 p.m. The community is invited to come and share this event. Light refreshments will be served, and a love offering will be accepted. And for more information, you can call the church office at 436-3354. Marion, thank you very much for that note. Right now, we are going to send it back over to our main studios at KBAR, and then I'll be back with a very, very nice lady that really knows hearing and what to do if you're starting to have some hearing problems, Dr. Christine Pickup with Mount Harrison Audiology. Stay tuned. I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Thank you very much, and welcome back to our last half hour of Zeb at the Ranch for this Thursday. And on the telephone with me right now is a lovely, lovely lady that is so knowledgeable. And I got to tell you, the first time I met her and I went to her office and I sat down and talked to her about hearing, she just knows everything there is to know about hearing, and she can share that with you. And I'm talking about Dr. Christine Pickup with Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. Merry Christmas.
And the very same to you. Merry, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. You know, we're all going to be gathering with different groups. We're going to be getting together with our families, and the kids are going to be ripping open the presents, and we're going to be going to church services and everything. Wow, it's great if you can hear everything.
It sure is. You know, we take for granted how connected our hearing makes us with everybody, and especially this time of year. It's important to hear all those special sounds, the hymns, the carols, the laughter of our grandkids.
You know, when you talk about this, though, and I'm not trying to be a push religion on anybody, but I am a Christian and I'm really a believer. And when you look at the miracles that God bestowed upon human beings with the sight and the hearing, I mean, my goodness, it's just absolutely amazing how really defined our human being bodies are. And hearing is really something to behold, isn't it?
It is. It honestly, when I was studying the anatomy of it, for me, I'm also a Christian. Seeing how the ear works and how it all works together and how it's instantaneous, it just was miraculous to me. And the more I study, the more that we learn about how our hearing works and how it's all integrated with the rest of our body. It really is an amazing sense that we have.
Christine, let's talk a little bit about that, because I think some people, and I'm one of them up until you started coming on this program, we take hearing for granted. And when you think about it, how it works, I know that we all studied it in high school biology and everything else, but really give us a simplified thumbnail sketch of what happens to be able to hear a sound.
Okay. Well, first you have to have something to hear. So air bubbles basically bouncing around and transmit a frequency. And then that has to hit your ear. So it has to go down the ear canal, hit your eardrum. It moves the ossicles, the little bones behind your ear. And then that in turn moves a membrane in the inner ear, or cochlea, and that turns into a liquid wave that goes through the inner ear. And the ear is actually arranged by tone, just like a piano. So the high frequencies are near the opening, and then the bass sounds are towards the end, as if you unrolled that little snail shell shape. And then it stimulates nerves that are all arranged by tone. That sends a signal up from the ear, up the brainstem, into the brain, and then our brain says, "Oh, that's a sound," and it attaches meaning to it. And this happens instantaneously. That's what's so amazing, is we take for granted that all of this is happening, and there's so many places in that pathways where something could go wrong.
Right.
And we just really don't realize how important it is until something doesn't work.
Let's kind of break some of this stuff down, and I know we talked previously about this, and some of it might be repetitive, but what are some of the things that people need to be aware of? And by the way, I know you're on a cell phone, so if you could really hold that still and speak directly into it. It's a little wavery this morning. What are some of the things
I'm having a little trouble hearing you, too.
Yeah, I know. We've had that problem, and I apologize for that. What are some of the problems that people need to be cognizant of and aware of?
Well, first and foremost, if you have had a heart condition recently, or if you've had a serious infection where you had to have IV antibiotics, you have compromised kidney function, or you are a diabetic whose blood sugars are not well controlled, and I mean an A1C below 6, you are at a higher risk for having trouble with your hearing. The inner ear is very sensitive to very small, what we call microvascular changes to our blood supply. And so any of those health conditions can actually cause hearing loss, and that may be your first symptom of something that's something a little bit more important with your health.
Okay. Now, one thing that we didn't discuss, I think maybe we might have touched on it, but we didn't really discuss it the last time, and a lot of people have problems with this, and it can diminish their hearing, and right before lunch, people don't want to talk about it, but it's a buildup of earwax, and that can really be a problem, can't it?
It absolutely can. And you'd be surprised at how many people have a buildup and they don't even realize it. All of a sudden, as long as you have a pinhole through that wax, you'll still be able to hear fairly well. But as soon as that closes off, if you have a homegrown earplug, and it really can cause some major problems.
What do you do about that problem? I mean, a lot of people, and you told me this one time, it could be hereditary. What are the causes of having a problem with that?
Oh, it's definitely hereditary. You can also have some issues as we get older. Things just don't clear like they used to. Gravity pulls on our outer ear just like it does everything else, and sometimes we can develop what's called a collapsing ear canal, and it becomes very narrow and hard for that wax to come out like it naturally does. One of the easiest, best things you can do to keep earwax under control, and if you can stand it, is when you shower in the morning and you're washing your hair, get a little shampoo in your ear and then let the water from the shower run in and out of your ears.
Oh, my. And if it gets so bad that you can't stand it, like I had happen to me one time where I'm shaking my head like a basketball, then they've got to have somebody help you, right?
Yes. And that's something I'm trained in and I'm happy to do.
All right. Now, what about if your hearing starts to go bad? Is it going to be a everyday worsening? Is it going to be degenerating every day? Or what happens at that point?
Well, usually hearing loss happens very gradually. It's not, sometimes it is sudden. It depends on the cause, and there are a multitude of causes. But the most frequently, hearing loss is a very gradual process, and all of a sudden, one day you'll realize, wow, that wasn't clear. Or especially if one ear is affected more than the other, you'll find yourself turning your head to the better ear without even being conscious of it, because it makes the sound clearer.
Okay.
A lot of times you'll think people are mumbling, or someone will notice that you're turning the television up louder than you used to. Oftentimes you'll blame it on your cell phone that, gosh, I just can't hear those phone calls, but then you get on the landline and it's not any better.
Yeah.
And those are some things to watch for. Another something to watch for is if all of a sudden ringing in your ears occurs. That ringing is called tinnitus or tinnitus, depending on what side of the Mississippi you're on. And oftentimes that is a symptom of hearing loss.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. You told me this the first time I met you, that a lot of people have the misconception that because you're getting older or elderly, that does not necessarily mean that you're going to lose your hearing, does it?
No, it doesn't. There's a lot of factors that cause hearing loss. One of the primary ones is noise. And most of us in this industrial world that we live in here are exposed to motors and different things, and then many of us have the hobbies of using firearms, or in our jobs we're running tractors, we're working at a factory. All of those kinds of noises over time beat up on our inner ear. And so it's a factor of how much noise and how long you've been exposed to it, what types of noise and the duration. It also is a factor in your genetics. I have two people that are exposed to the same type of noise. One will have a sudden hearing loss, and one is, really isn't affected at all. And so there's a lot of different things that come into play.
Let's talk quickly in the time remaining about hearing screenings. I think a lot of people are going, oh boy, I'm a scaredy cat. I don't want to go in there. It might hurt. It's actually kind of fun.
It is kind of fun. I really try to make it educational. And nothing hurts that I do, well, aside from maybe cleaning your ears out if we really have to dig hard. But
now, wait a minute. Stop right there. Wait a minute, Christine. You really got a chuckle out of me because it tickled me so much I couldn't quit laughing.
That's true. But that's not a common reaction, Zeb. That was more just a Zeb thing, I think.
Okay, go ahead.
Sometimes that's a very tender spot, and so depending on where we're removing the wax, it might feel uncomfortable. But most of the things I do don't hurt. I always joke it's way better than going to the dentist.
Absolutely. And what do they have to do to get a hearing screening? I mean, here it is the holidays, and a lot of people are so busy and everything, but wait a minute. If you really want to enjoy what's going on, maybe that hearing screening is something you better do today. What should they do?
They're welcome to call our office. Our number is 312-0957. I actually have hearing aids that are demo hearing aids that I've been able to purchase at a very reduced rate. I can let people use them for free. And if you're worried about hearing, you want to be able to hear over the holidays, but you're concerned about, gosh, I'm not sure if I really want to use that, or if it's something that's right for me, let's try it. You're not going to know until you actually can hear the difference.
Now, what do you tell people, Christine, as far as how to find your office? Give us kind of a thumbnail sketch or a roadmap, if you will, as to how to get there.
Well, get yourself to Rupert and find Minidoka Memorial Hospital. We are located just north of the hospital in the little physician's offices that are across from the hospital there. If you find the ER and look to the north, there's a group of offices that face east-west. We have the second office on the left, number 2.
Okay, and the phone number again to make an appointment to come over for a hearing screening?
It's 312-0957.
All right, is there anything else that you'd like my audience to know about hearing and making sure that they take care of their hearing that maybe we haven't touched on?
Well, actually, last month they came out with the first study that showed that if you have hearing loss and wear hearing aids consistently, it helps stave off the effects of cognitive decline and dementia. So it's not just a nice thing to have. Our hearing is linked to our brain health. And so the longer you go not taking care of hearing loss, as soon as you're aware of it, the more at risk you are of developing cognitive decline or dementia. It really is an important part of keeping the whole person healthy.
Absolutely. I think the world of this lady, and she knows all about hearing and hearing loss and what might be done to help that hearing loss. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids with the lovely Dr. Christine Pickup, 312-0957. Thank you, Christine, and I'll be talking to you before, but I want to extend to you and your family a Merry Christmas.
Oh, thank you so much. Merry Christmas to you and Deanne. I appreciate all your support.
All right, thank you. Have a good day. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir. Take care.
That is a lovely lady right there at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And I got to tell you that I went over there, oh gosh, it's been, 6-8 months ago, whatever, and had that hearing screening. And it really is. It's a lot of fun. It's really interesting to hear what we're hearing in one ear, maybe not hearing in the other, and all kinds of problems that might be caused by medicine or whatever, health problems. Very informative lady right there, Dr. Christine Pickup with Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Holy smokes, I've got to get the weather forecast on here. And it's brought to you this hour by Scarro's Meats. Delicious at 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call is 324-7657. They've got what they call the Harvest Bundle. Listen to this. Listen to this. You get beef like chuck roast, and you get 8 New York strip steaks, and you get pork, boneless Boston butt roast. Have to say that slow. 8 boneless pork chops, bacon, and chicken, and leg quarters. Oh my goodness. 32 pounds of meat in this Harvest Bundle for just $79 plus tax. Holy moly! You better get a hold of Scarro's Meats today. 324-7657. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
It's Thursday, December 10th, 15 days left until Christmas, and here's what we're looking at weather-wise. Looks like showers for today, plus it's going to be windy out of the southwest, right around 17 miles an hour. High of 46 is what we're expecting for today. Tonight, low of 28. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, winds dying down, high of 39 with an overnight low of 27. Morning snow showers are possible for Saturday, slightly breezy, high of 38 with an overnight low of 31, and then rain showers possible for Sunday with a high of 43. Yesterday's high was 60, and the overnight low was 33. That's your weather for Zeb Duran.
I'll tell you what, great job. Thank you, Gina, and of course, Scarro's Meats. Don Scarrow and the rest of the crew bringing you the weather this hour. They're changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Call them about the Harvest Bundle at 324-7657. How about a call? How about somebody giving me a call right now? The phone lines are open at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And we'll talk to you. I just have got to share this story. I know it sounds kind of morbid, but it is kind of funny in a way. I'll let you be the judge. Down in Brevard County, Florida, deputies have determined that Matthew Riggins, 22 years of age, was killed by an alligator in Barefoot Bay Lake on November 23rd. How and why? Well, this man, Matthew Riggins, was hiding to avoid law enforcement. Investigators say that Riggins had told his girlfriend that he would be in Barefoot Bay to commit burglaries with another suspect who was now in custody but not cooperating. Well, here's what happened. Deputies responded to calls in Barefoot Bay on November 13th that there were 2 men dressed in black walking behind area houses. And then when the responding officers got there, they ran away. Well, later that day, Matthew Riggins was reported missing to the Palm Bay Police Department. Police searching the area reported hearing, "Help, help, help!" but could not determine the source that night. Later, 10 days later, they found Riggins' body, what was left of it, floating in the lake. That really is gator home security. Evidently, Mr. Riggins, stumbled into an alligator and met his demise. I know, it's kind of sick and twisted, but you talk about home security, there it is. Maybe we all should buy a gator. All right, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. In the time remaining this morning, I was sent a list, and it's not a complete list, but I thought I'd run it by you folks a little bit, of how to be a smart shopper during the holiday season. And some of the tips were, when shopping online, look for indicators that a retailer's website is secure, although no site is foolproof. A lock icon on the status bar or a web address beginning with HTTPS indicates a secure site. Okay, be careful about that. And then also, here's something that we're all guilty of, I'm guilty of. Don't carry your wallet in your back pocket or in an open purse slung over your shoulder. Be careful about that. And then I got to thinking about this next one. It says, keep your debit cards, credit cards, and checkbook in your possession at all times. Well, yeah, what are you going to do? Try to lay them on the counter? Don't carry your Social Security number in your wallet or write it on a check. Now, that's pretty hard not to do. The other thing is, keep an eye on your spending and accounts. By viewing your accounts online, you can see every transaction, which can help you spot anything unusual. That is something we all need to do with all our credit cards and everything. Every month, make sure that all the charges are appropriate and honest and legitimate. Make sure you check those over. And here's something that we all need to do. Shred your financial and other personal documents before disposing of them. And I was reading a newspaper story. Let me see if I can't find that here this morning. And I'm guilty of this more than anybody, that if you do any flying, and for all the years that I was making maybe 40, 50 flights a year, you leave your boarding passes laying either on the airplane or you leave them after they're old and no good, maybe with a connecting flight, leave them in the airport. Don't do that. You know why? The Krebs on Security blog has decided that this might give the bad people a chance to use the barcodes that are on those boarding passes, and they can, in all of their expertise of being illegal and knowledgeable about technocracy, they can get all the information about you and how much you spent on it, where your banks are. The information could even help a hacker reset the PIN number code used to access a frequent flyer account. They can destroy your life. So rip those things to shreds or take them home and put them through a paper shredder, but don't leave them in the boarding area. And boy, that's something I've done for all the years. I'm not on that flight anymore. Choop, over my shoulder into the trash can. Don't do that. Be careful out there. There are so many ways with technology that people can hurt you. Calls are welcome, 436-2244. Why in the world? I can't remember that number. It's only been 15 years. Don't forget, all the traction tires are available at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. I mean, they've got all the different tread designs, all the studded tires. They've got all the snow chains. They've got all the batteries, the snow wheels. They've got it all for you. Listen to this. They've also got the Proxys ST2 Super Performance tire, excellent on wet and dry conditions, and it is at a price you don't want to pass it up. Stop in at any and all of the 7 locations for your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Check out all the front end alignments and the shocks and struts and the best brake value promise in the industry. All of this and more at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers with Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, John on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and Randy, my buddy, on Overland in Burley. The best, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Hey, Wheels, can you turn your mic on for a minute?
Yes, sir.
Attaboy. Have you got a Christmas song, a really happy, kind of a bouncy Christmas carol that we can wrap the program up with today?
Actually, for you...
Oh, wait a minute. That's $2.50. Thank you very much. All right. Have you got one?
Yes, sir, I do. I have Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow for your outro.
I love that song. Wheels, you did a fantastic job this week. Merry Christmas, and we'll just say goodbye, everybody. We'll see you Monday right here at Zeb at the Ranch on K-Bar 1230 and streaming live on ZebBell.com all over the universe. And remember, the way things were are the way things ought to be. Merry Christmas. Take it away, Wheels.